All right, we're good. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Marnie Mackey. I am the Family Services Manager at North St. Louis County Habitat for Humanity. I'm going to share a little bit about who we are and what we do and how you can get involved if you would like. So, Habitat for Humanity is an international, ecumenical, nonprofit Christian housing ministry. And the whole entire organization has been around since 1976, so a very long time. The word ecumenical is just a fancy word for non-denominational. It's important for people to understand that we are not affiliated with any one church, nor do our partner families need to be affiliated with any one church or religion. It's just really more about our roots and why we do what we do. So you'll see the evidence of that in our mission statement. Seeking to put God's love into action, Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Our vision, ultimately, we want to live in a world where everyone has a decent place to live. So how affiliates work. So we have Habitat for Humanity International, which is a big organization, and they are located in Georgia, near Atlanta. But we are in affiliates like the one that I work in, are in all 50 states, and we're in over 70 countries, which is really cool. Here in Minnesota, we have about 25 affiliates. So I work at North St. Louis County, and our service area covers Hibbing. Kind of our west side is Hibbing, and then Chisholm, Buell, Mountain Iron, Virginia, Eveleth, Gilbert, and then we go over to the East Range and then up to Ely in the Cook area. There are other affiliates that are close to us. One is in Itasca County, and then there's one that covers the Duluth area. We have built in 15 communities, and since 1995, we are now up to about 130 families served, which is really exciting. We do 3 types of projects. We do new construction. We build a single-story home on a heated slab. A 3-bedroom is about 1,100 square feet. They are built to be very energy efficient, therefore saving families a lot of money on utilities. Another type of project we do is a rehab. Believe it or not, we get homes donated to Habitat from very generous people in our communities. And when we get a home like that, we are looking to see if it's either a 3-bedroom or can we make it into a 3-bedroom? Can we make it as energy efficient as a new construction home? We tend to go in and demo it to studs so that we can do new plumbing, new electrical, new insulation. And if we're able to do that and have it as energy efficient, then we take that donation and then partner with a family to rehab it. And then the third type of project we have is called a recycle home. These are homes that we've either built from the ground up or rehabbed that have come back into our program. And so why do homes come back into our program? Sometimes it's due to families moving out of the area. Sometimes we've had single homeowners get married and then they move to a different house with their new family. Other times it's just they've grown their family and it's overcrowded. And then other times they've fallen on hard times and they're no longer able to afford the mortgage payment. And so those homes come back into our program and we're able to freshen them up and partner with another family to buy it. Freshening it up could be simple coat of paint, or it could be that we have extensive work, depending on how long the house has been in the program. It's also important to know that we only build on lots that have city water and sewer. We get lots through donations, tax forfeit, or we sometimes purchase them. We do have about 5 3-bedroom plans that families get to choose from. There are times when families do not choose the plan. For instance, we might start building a house before we have a family for it. I believe that we'll be able to show you some examples of house plans when this video is done. So if you are interested in our home ownership program, I am now going to go through the 3 basic criteria. Families need to show a need for housing, the ability to pay an affordable mortgage, and they have to show that they're willing to partner. Let's see, let's go through those individually. So need for housing. This is generally a pretty easy criteria to meet. There are a lot of things that show need for housing. You could be living in a home that is overcrowded. You could be living in an older apartment or home that needs many repairs. There could be structural issues. There could be mold issues. Or you could be living in a place that meets your needs, but the cost of rent is putting you into a very tight budget situation. So those are all things that show need for housing. Now, once we are done building a home, families will then purchase it with an affordable mortgage. So we have to look at your ability to pay. So we need families to have a stable source of income of at least $30,000 a year. This is gross income, so before taxes are taken out. Income sources could be wages, could be child support. If you are in disability and are getting Social Security, all sources of income can be factored into that. We're looking also at your credit. And so that might be a little scary, especially if you think that you have some major credit issues. What's interesting about Habitat is that we are also the bank. And so we have a little bit more flexibility than perhaps a traditional lender. So I would encourage families to apply, even if you think your credit could use some help, because we might be able to work through some of those issues together. When looking at credit, we just want to make sure that you have enough income to cover your expenses, and are you able to manage your debt? Kind of back on income. So we're looking at a stable source of income of at least $30,000. And then we have kind of an upper guideline, so a maximum income, if you will. And that's based on family size, and we use the median income that is provided to us from the county. So for example, if you're a family of 4, your income needs to fall somewhere between $30,000, and that guideline for a family of 4 is $60,360. So your income needs to fall somewhere within there. If for some reason you are going, oh, well, I make $61,000 or $62,000, I would encourage you to still apply, because we do have reasons why we could make an exception and go over that guideline. Also, one thing I wanted to go back and clarify, what is a family? Habitat defines a family of 1 or more people. So a common misconception with Habitat is that you need to have kids. You do not need to have children. You could have children that are grown and you're now an empty nester. You could still apply for Habitat, because again, we define a family as 1 or more people. The last criteria I want to talk about is willingness to partner. So Habitat is very unique in that families get in on the action of building. And so we expect families to do a certain number of sweat equity hours. And it's a combination of construction-y things and non-construction things. Obviously, construction is picking up a hammer, going on a built site, and helping out building your home and homes of other families. And then there are non-construction type things, which is coming to our office for meetings, maybe helping us fold newsletters, maybe helping to provide a meal for volunteers on a build site. So each adult in the household will do a minimum of 200 hours. And then you'll recruit 100 hours from friends and family. And so what does that look like? If you have children and you have friends or family that are watching your children so that you could go on a build site, that's sweat equity for your friends and family. If they come alongside you and help you paint, those are hours that they're earning for you. So other ways that you can earn hours or show your willingness to partner is just initiating and following through with the application process, attending our educational classes, and then also just being willing to share your story. So our goal by the end of the program, and just in general, is making sure that everyone gets a home that they can afford. We have an affordable down payment, which is $1,000. And that is money that you save over the course of your program. I have many families that bring it in early. We can't make you bring it in early, but I do have families, especially around tax time, bring in their money so that it's just done and taken care of. We are making sure that we are providing an affordable mortgage with affordable monthly payments. Right now, we set that mortgage payment at no more than 25% of your income. And that payment includes the principal, which is the part that pays off your loan. And then we collect money from you every month so that when your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes are due, we can get those paid for you. It's also great your payments stay local. We have a bank in Hibbing that services our mortgages. But generally, if you're having issues with your mortgage, you're calling and talking to me. So it's nice to know that your payments are staying local. Another interesting thing about the principal part of your payment, that those dollars go into a fund that is called the Fund for Humanity, and that is how we build more houses. So if you have a 30-year mortgage and every month your principal part of your payment is going into this Fund for Humanity, it's pooling with other families that are making those payments. And when we add all those payments up in a year, it allows us to build one house a year. So over the course of a 30-year mortgage, you're helping us build 30 houses. So that's a pretty great way to pay it forward without extending your budget. So not only are you providing a home for you and your family, you're helping us build and help other families. Just like all the families before you are helping to build your house. So that's pretty cool. It's a great system. They're really smart people that put this program together. So if you are interested in applying for our program, you can do that by calling our office and requesting an application. Our phone number is 218-749-8910. You could also stop by our office and pick up an application. We are located in Virginia. Or probably the easiest thing is going to our website, which if you just Google North St. Louis County Habitat for Humanity, we're located in Virginia, you'll find us fairly easily. And there is a tab at the top that says how to apply, or maybe it says home ownership. I'm not entirely sure, but it's one of those. If you click on that tab and scroll to the bottom, there is an applicant inquiry form that you fill out, and it shoots all of your information to me, and then I will reach out to you. There are other ways that individuals or families can get involved with Habitat. You can help us educate our community. There's a lot of misconceptions about who we are and what we do. One, we don't give houses away for free. We do have an affordable mortgage. Other people think that our families do not pay taxes, but you do. You get the same tax break as every other homeowner in the area, and that's the homestead credit. So it's always great to have people who share information about our program. If you are connected with your local, state, or federal representatives, reach out and advocate for affordable housing. There is a housing crisis and a housing shortage going on in our state and our country, and reaching out to our representatives is also a great way to help out Habitat. You could volunteer if you want to pick up a hammer and join us on a build site. You do not need to know how to do anything. We have a great staff that will come alongside you and help you do all the fun things on a build site. You could volunteer in our office by folding newsletters. And if you're looking for a nonprofit to donate to, we obviously would take donations as well. We run largely on donations from businesses and individuals in our service area. Let's see. I think that's it.
All right. I have a question. So once they submit that inquiry, is an application then mailed to them, or how does that work?
Yes. So when I get an inquiry form emailed to me, then I reply back with just some basic information about our program. And then our frequently asked questions document I will send as well, that shows our income guidelines so that families can take a look at that. And then after that, if they're interested in receiving an application, I just ask them to reply back or give me a call. And then, yes, then I mail one out. Sometimes they'll say, can I just swing by and grab it? And that's fine too. So, yes, I do mail them out. I don't email them because we don't want to accept anything via email just to protect your private information. We do not have a secure way for you to send those things in. So, I will mail out an application or you pick one up and then you could either bring everything back and drop it off or you can mail it back. Yeah.
Understandably so. Now, you mentioned earlier about going back to the criteria piece of it, the minimum and maximum, also being able to um, afford to be able to make this decision. Now, if someone is dealing with some debt issues, what are some ways that you guys partner with them to help them address that so that they can become ready?
Sure. So I think because we're the bank and we have two bankers that sit on our family selection committee, and they go over line by line on the credit. And there are some things that, like medical debt, we're just not concerned about.
Okay.
Student loan debt, we're also not that concerned about that as well. And so if there are a lot of collections accounts, we might say, hey, you've got this really small collection account. Let's just get it taken care of before we close.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would accept that family with the understanding that they would take care of it before we go to the closing table. Likewise with judgments. If there are an overabundance of judgments, then we would probably deny a family based on credit and say, if you can work on these things, you're welcome to reapply in 6 months or a year. There are often times when we're not overly concerned about small judgments either. So that's where, as the bank, we've got a lot more flexibility than a traditional lender. Mm-hmm. We have an attorney on our board that will look at it and he's like, I'm not worried about it. And it's not to say, I think if we looked at a credit report and there's just long history of not managing money well, and then you run a judgment search and then there's judgments there, then we would probably deny a family based on credit. But we're also looking at a debt to income ratio. So if I'm calculating income, I'm looking at debt. And if there's still, so we have a maximum percentage of 43% debt to income, and that's factoring in the projected habitat payment. And so if all of that adds up and you're still under that 43%, then we would probably still move forward.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
So families shouldn't be discouraged if they know that they have a judgment or
correct
some bad payment history.
Yes, absolutely. And people ask me all the time, well, what's your minimum credit score? And we don't have one. I look at them.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that pops up on a credit report. It's on the first page is credit scores.
Okay.
And so I generally look at them and I'll be like, okay, I see that they're this, so I know there are going to be some issues when I turn the page. And if they're higher, then I know I'm going to turn the page and they're going to be okay.
Yes.
So, but we do not have a minimum credit score. I have a couple families right now that have no credit scores because they just haven't established
that
credit.
Was my next question is, what is the lowest score you've worked with?
We've had families in the 500s. And then, like I said, zero, nothing, no scores reported.
With banks, they want to see people with what is the minimum?
About 640, 650. Mm-hmm. So USDA has a subsidized interest rate product. It's the direct loan, like 502 direct loan. And we partner with USDA and have some families use that for their funding. It doesn't apply to Hibbing because Hibbing is not rural enough, which is interesting, right? Right. So, but USDA has, if they see a score of 640, then they don't do a deep dive. They just take what's on the credit report and run with it. If it's less than 640, then they do a deeper dive and maybe want some credit references and things. Okay. But yeah, we don't do that. We look at them, but it's kind of like,
all right,
they don't matter.
Perfect. Well, I don't think I have any other. Actually, I do. Okay, one more question, especially on the volunteer piece of it. What is the easiest way someone could, if they wanted to volunteer?
So you can call the office and talk to Tucker Nelson. He is our community engagement coordinator. And he would then take your information and kind of match you up based on your schedule and kind of get you on a build site when you're available and when we have things going on. But you can also go to our website. There is a volunteer section that you can fill out a form on our website as well that would shoot all that information to Tucker, and then he would reach out to coordinate.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you today.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.